Welcome to A2A Conversations, an ongoing discussion about turning adversity into advocacy. Join us as we explore the power of purpose, service, and empathy, and the resilience we build when helping ourselves by helping others. Now here's our host, A2A founder, Jeff Bell.
Hi there, and thanks for taking a few minutes to watch this week's episode, one I am certain is going to inspire you. My guest is Brandon Staglin, president of One Mind, a nonprofit dedicated to advancing brain health research and advocacy. Brandon brings to his work extensive lived experience with schizophrenia and recovery, and a relentless determination to help others. You and your amazing family were so instrumental in helping us get A2A off the ground, and you were one of our inaugural advocates.
Yeah, Jeff, it's great to be on your podcast. It's been so great to work with you over the whole length of time, and it was an honor to help get A2A off the ground. I was glad my family and I were able to offer you some perspective on how to start a nonprofit and then help you with the fiscal sponsorship early on. I'm so glad A2A is taking off now and coming back after the pandemic. It's really exciting.
And let me just say, we really could not have done it without the Staglin family support. So thank you again for that. And your story, Brandon, is so emblematic of what we're trying to promote through A2A, this notion that we help ourselves by helping others. And I want to let our listeners know a little bit more about your journey. First, tell us real quickly about One Mind, that beautiful graphic behind you for the organization that you now lead as president. Talk a little bit about One Mind's mission, and we'll be touching upon One Mind throughout the talk, but I want to sort of give that context to the viewer as well.
Absolutely. So One Mind was founded in 1995 by my parents, Sherry and Garen Staglin, in response to our shared experience with my schizophrenia diagnosis and recovery. I was diagnosed with schizophrenia in 1990, and I've been very fortunate to recover over the last 30 years. Today, One Mind's mission is to accelerate collaborative research and advocacy to enable all people facing brain health challenges to build healthy and productive lives, something we deeply believe in. And we do this through a three-pronged strategy of advancing science and services and society initiatives all across mental health.
And Brandon, before we move on with your journey, let's sort of hit the pause button for a moment and talk a little bit more about schizophrenia. What do you want our viewers to know about this mental health challenge?
Yeah, so schizophrenia is a serious mental illness that incorporates as a signature feature psychosis, which means hallucinations and delusions. Hallucinations are when you see or hear or experience things that nobody else can see, hear, or experience, which objectively are not happening, but you subjectively experience them. And delusions are similar, but in terms of thoughts and ideas and beliefs. So you may believe things that there is no basis for in reality, like I described, I was experiencing. And these can be really scary and debilitating. And if they are, that's what makes them psychosis. That's what makes them pathological. What constitutes the diagnosis of schizophrenia is if they are pathological. Fortunately, let me continue. There are other features of schizophrenia, which include challenges with thinking clearly, with expressing oneself clearly, with emoting, but like showing emotion clearly, challenges with making plans and following through on plans. These are called the cognitive symptoms and the negative symptoms of schizophrenia, the technical terms, not that important right now. But anyway, so all these features roll together or what goes into a diagnosis of schizophrenia. But fortunately, it's not the end of your life, right? Even if you have schizophrenia, there is potential to recover, especially if you start early with your treatment and don't wait only for medication to help, because medication is super important, but there are many other things you can do to boost your mental health and your well-being, including ultimately advocacy, as we'll talk about later in the podcast, I think.
Yeah, I got to believe, Brandon, that your story gives hope to so many people who are dealing with not only schizophrenia, but mental illness in general. How would you describe your current state, if you will, in terms of your well-being? I mean, you are accomplishing so much in your day-to-day life.
Thank you. And the things that I do, the work that I do, and the pleasant times that I also enjoy outside of work, these experiences kind of are strengthening my ability to live life functionally and well. a phrase that I've heard somebody say is that to live well, you just live well. I mean, it's not only that, but living well brings more living well, because it builds your ability to, say, have relationships. Practicing that deepens those relationships, and nurturing the relationships makes them stronger, which are really important for mental health, obviously. And doing work, it gives you a sense of purpose, and that gives you a sense of like stability in your life. We can talk more about that as well. I'm doing really well. Thanks for asking. There's stress in my life, but it's good stress, because I really enjoy all that I'm doing, and it means a lot.
Well, it really is amazing the work that you are doing. And we're going to talk about that advocacy. And in fact, I want to dive into that right now by asking you, when did you first decide to share your story, and what prompted you to do so?
This movie director came to my family's home, my parents' home, and he was making a movie about the uh, the wine industry, and families coming into the wine industry. And he interviewed us all for that movie. And we told him a lot about our music festival for brain health, which is something we'd started doing a few years before. And he was fascinated with that, and asked ultimately, why is my family so interested in mental health advocacy? And I seized that opportunity. I was thinking to myself, I'm sick of hiding this, and I want to step up here. So I seized the opportunity and told him it's because I have schizophrenia, and my family has been inspired by my experience to do this work. And he was interested. He wanted to learn a lot more about it. So I told him about my experience. We talked for about 10 minutes about it. And ultimately, he asked me, do you want me to put this in the film? And I thought for another moment. I said, yeah, you can put it in the film, please. He didn't. It didn't fit his theme, but that was a turning point for me internally, because I had spoken about it. I had committed to be able to speak about it, and it could have been public, and I felt good about that. And so I realized that I could be a lot more public about it. So I began telling more friends, ultimately began public speaking, blogging, and webcasting. And it's been a great experience. It's been liberating, because people are actually interested, and I'm not needing to like make that part of me not real anymore. It's a real thing. It's part of my life. So it's been actually very positive, because it does inspire people. So I've heard.
Brandon, as we've mentioned, you've done a lot of advocacy together with your family. What has that meant to you? What has that meant to the family to be able to advocate as a family unit?
It's been fantastic. It's brought us closer together. We were able to speak together in interviews and so forth, podcasts, webcasts occasionally. But having this common sense of purpose has been really strengthening for our family, and something that we talk about a lot. The work that we do together, and what it means, and how to make it even more effective. So that's been great.
And you've helped a lot of other families dealing with mental health challenges along the way as well.
Yes, that's right. Families often contact us asking for help finding treatment for their loved ones, their kids. And it's one of the most meaningful things that I do in my work, is to help connect those people to doctors, psychiatrists, therapists, doing innovative work to really help them through the jams that they're in. Hopefully, it's been of help to many people.
Brandon, you've mentioned a couple of times now the value of the purpose that you get from your advocacy. As you know so well through our work together at A2A, our running tagline is we help ourselves by helping others. And the theory behind that is when we're able to take the empathy that we have developed because of what we've been through and apply that in service to other people, we build a sense of resilience through the sense of purpose that we get from that work. Can you speak to that in your own life and your family's own outreach?
Yes, I can. As I was saying a moment ago, it's one of the most meaningful things that I do to help people experiencing serious mental illness in themselves or in their families. And it's meaningful not only because it can inspire them and help them to live with more wellness and well-being, but also because I'm learning about their experiences and kind of communicating with them, and kind of learning that I'm not alone in this, as they're learning they're not alone, and knowing there's that community of support out there is fantastic. But the sense of purpose is also incredibly important. It keeps me getting up in the morning, eager to face the day. It drives me as I'm in these really stressful times, working through challenges with the work, and it's an incredible benefit.
Well, let's talk a little bit about One Mind today and where you're headed as an organization and some of the great work that you're doing. What's your favorite current project that you're working on? Let me start there.
Yeah, so our Aspire initiative is my favorite current project. It stands for Accelerating Serious Psychiatric Illness Recovery. And the focus is on helping young people at risk for serious mental illness to heal, strengthen, and build their best lives. We have accelerated that to a large degree throughout California by bringing together the early psychosis care programs all throughout the state into a learning healthcare network, meaning they can actually share their data and their knowledge with each other to improve all throughout that network the outcomes of the young people in the network, so that they can live healthier lives faster and get back to a more stable life. Very proud of that. But we're aiming to pivot it soon. We're looking even more into primary prevention. So like helping young people even before they're known to be at risk for psychosis.
One of the things I love so much about One Mind is you're always expanding the scope of what you're doing, whether it's research or outreach or new podcasts or webcasts. You're just always expanding the offerings and reaching a broader and broader audience.
Yeah, thanks. We want to help as many people as we can, as efficiently and rapidly as we can, with not only the work we're doing, but helping them understand about the work we're doing through the media work that we do.
And One Mind, if our viewers want to get more involved, are there opportunities to do so?
Yes, there are opportunities. You can support One Mind by donating. You can join our Facebook group. You can also come to our music festival for brain health as a donor. That is an amazing event taking place this year, September 9th and 10th.
Excellent. Brandon, thank you so much for making the time today. Even more, thank you for all your incredible involvement with and support of A2A over the years. So grateful for everything that you and your family have done, and so grateful for the work that you continue to do to inspire people all around the world.
Well, thank you for letting me be on this podcast and talk a little bit about those things. The work you do is amazing as well. Thanks for sharing not only my story, but so many amazing stories of advocates who are changing people's lives and what that means for them as well.
You've been watching A2A Conversations, a presentation of the nonprofit A2A Alliance. Guest views and opinions expressed in this production are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect those of A2A, its advocates, advisors, or partners. To watch more of our A2A Conversations, please visit us online at a2aalliance.org.